you're guilty of massive amounts of misinformation and disinformation as a part of a propaganda campaign.
Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed federal prosecutors to launch a grand jury investigation into members of the Obama administration over the 2016 Russia investigation.
A lot of them are guilty of it.
Yeah,
a lot of the people that are in that White House press conference, a lot of the organizations they work for, distributed absolute lies.
Total lies.
Tulsi Gabbard declassified documents that she says shows Obama administration officials manufactured intelligence to make it look like Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
How many of them during the whole Russiagate thing?
A lot of people think that the Russia thing was real.
Yeah, still.
I mean, the whole Steele dossier where it was like completely concocted.
Funded by the Clinton campaign.
Smooth speeches, flawless delivery, and a carefully crafted image all meet their match when Joe Rogan tears straight to the polished facade. With sharp precision and brutal wit, he dismantles the myth of cool, exposing the scripted politics, the strategic disappearances, and the celebrity-style branding that kept millions hooked. Every calculated pause and every curated moment is ripped apart by Rogan as nothing more than performance art disguised as leadership. This is an admiration. It's a ruthless unmasking of a master marketer dressed in a presidential suit.
Volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto.
Barack Obama has built an entire second career out of turning every public appearance into a cinematic monologue, but Joe Rogan slices right through that perfectly framed image, pointing out how Obama speaks like a philosopher yet moves like a brand ambassador. He doesn't just deliver speeches, he orchestrates them. The pauses, the lowered voice, the deliberate lift of the chin, all of it plays less like a political leader and more like a theater student who accidentally wandered into the Oval Office. Rogan cuts through performance, calling it for what it really is. Performance art dressed up in a suit.
Here in the United States, countless publications provoke offense. Like me, the majority of Americans are Christian, and yet we do not ban blasphemy against our most sacred beliefs.
He doesn't give a They're just going for it.
As president of our country and commander-in-chief of our military, I accept that people are going to call me awful things every day, and I will always defend their right to do so.
Flat out lie.
Efforts to restrict speech can quickly become a tool to silence critics and oppress minorities. We do so.
The former president perfected the art of being everything to everyone while standing for almost nothing. One moment he's a cool dad, the next an untouchable statesman, sometimes both in the same breath. Rogan rips into that act, mocking how Obama can talk endlessly about change and progress while sounding like a carefully edited college brochure designed not to offend.
Accusation. They're throwing around the word treason.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016.
They're saying that Obama knew that Russia did not meddle in the election.
The cult of personality around Obama is where Rogan digs the deepest, mocking how people treat him like the living embodiment of hope, as if loosening his tie could fix the economy. In reality, behind the smooth delivery and perfect smile is just another politician, only with better lighting and a cooler playlist. Rogan drives home the point that charisma isn't policy and charm doesn't solve problems. Obama's greatest trick was convincing people it does.
Obama, during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, and so bitter.
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie about Trump.
The childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
The thing that got me was that very fine people thing, the white supremacist thing. They just kept trying to say that he was a racist.
When he's not complaining, he's trying to sell you stuff. You're running for president and you're hawking merchandise. Gold sneakers, $100,000.
Rogan zeroes in on Obama's post-presidency glow-up Netflix deals, Spotify playlists, and high-priced speaking tours that look less like public service and more like a luxury brand. To Rogan, it's not leadership. It's cashing in on the myth of the polish of Silicon Valley CEO launching an app.
Absolutely must hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history.
But yet promoted this idea.
James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years.
And then there's been some incredible clips of all these different news reporters, CNN and MSNBC, just saying over and over and over again, clear evidence of Russian.
Rogan rips into the nostalgia machine around Obama, mocking how fans cling to his speeches, while ignoring a presidency defined by fence-sitting. From basketball games to celebrity hangouts, every move was about staying the cool president, center of attention without controversy. To Rogan, Obama's gift for turning war or economic collapse into a graduation speech was an inspiration. It was evasion.
You look at the policies and the attacks on whistleblowers and drone strikes and all the other shit that happened during that administration and the coup in Russia, and like there's a lot that's from a foreign policy perspective that's very similar to what George Bush was doing. But what they were doing was highlighting social justice issues that came about during his administration, largely obscured the fact that the foreign policies were very similar to what George Bush.
Rogan likens Obama to a comic who talks for 20 minutes, wins applause, but never delivers a punchline. Everyone leaves smiling, only to realize nothing was said. Behind the image of a unifier, the nation stayed divided. Yet the branding made him look like the glue. To Rogan, it's political yoga, endless flexibility in morals and positions, always finishing with a polished bow to the camera.
Is what Obama said on the same video, there is what Trump actually said. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting lie. And he's talking about George Washington. He said George Washington had slaves. Let's play it.
On both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down a very, very important statue from Robert E. Lee to another name. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Excuse me, how about Thomas Jefferson? Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned.
Rogan skewers Obama's Netflix empire, mocking it as glossy PR designed to keep the brand alive, like a musician selling greatest hits albums long after the music stopped. To Rogan, this isn't history. It's propaganda with a better soundtrack, all part of Obama's obsession with legacy. Every documentary, interview, and public appearance is another brushstroke on a self-portrait he wants remembered as greatness. The timing is too perfect, more Kardashian than statesman. But it works, because Obama knows his audience and plays them flawlessly.
Is that the 2011 thing where Obama allowed people to use propaganda against United States citizens?
Hillary Clinton is and has been an outstanding public servant.
What was done then under Obama, effective repeal of it, was called the Smith Modernization Act.
She was a great Secretary of State for me.
At the time, the media and media control was seen as the linchpin crux of winning the Cold War, piping in pro-U.S. media influence.
The policy of my administration is to encourage transparency. Why my emails, the BlackBerry that I carry around, all those records are available.
Congress recognized the Frankensteinian monster they were creating by authorizing a covert, permanent Department of Dirty Tricks, and this is their phrase, not mine.
Hillary is instructed those emails that had to do with official business need to be disclosed.
To infiltrate and co-opt the universities, the unions, the media, the politicians, the judges, the whole swarm.
Rogan blasts Obama's selective activism, comparing it to influencers picking brand deals safe, trendy, and risk-free. Real leadership means taking uncomfortable stands, but Obama stuck to causes that fit the image. Rogan also mocks a celebrity bubble, where private islands with billionaires and Hollywood elites replace any real connection to everyday Americans. It's hard to sell relatability. He argues, when your weekends look like Vanity Fair photo spreads.
Ever seen it?
No.
It's amazing. He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say that.
It's 100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? They would never do that. They would have water ready.
Rogan's roast goes beyond Obama's politics and straight at the brand itself. The suits, the playlist, the perfect tone, all crafted to sell nostalgia for an America that mostly lived in speeches and slogans. It's smart marketing, but as Rogan points out, nostalgia doesn't fix problems or pay bills. By the end, Obama isn't a beacon of hope. He's a polished reformer who turned politics into a personal franchise. And every move he makes now only feeds a fire Rogan's already lit.
I've had candid conversations with Tulsi Gabbard about what it was like.
It's a disservice to the American people that former President Obama's office and others who are criticizing the transparency that is being delivered by releasing these documents. They are doing a disservice to the American people and trying to deflect away from their culpability in what is a historic scandal.
She's a person, tries to be friends with everybody, tries to reach across the aisle. She's got that whole aloha.
Rogan hammers the theater of Obama's post-presidency, mocking how a former world leader now plays streaming service producer. Every project feels less like culture and more like brand expansion. Safe topics, polished tone, and stories where the hero conveniently looks like the executive producer. It's a greatest hits tour built on nostalgia, not civic duty, and Rogan tears into the illusion, calling exactly what it is: premium tier Obama branding.
Isn't it crazy, like when Obama was president, worst they could get on him is, remember when he wore that tan suit?
Why did you take issue with the suit?
Because you know the image makers in the White House. Here's a president coming out at such a serious moment where he should be addressing the country on such a serious matter, and he looked like he was on his way to a party at the Hamptons.
He never had a single moment publicly where he stumbled, where he said something really stupid. This is insane.
Rogan tears into the merchandising of Obama's ideals, mocking how every book, podcast, and production is just leadership repackaged as a product line. Fans treat buying like patriotism, while Obama cashes the checks and polishes his legacy. Rogan also slams the strategic invisibility, vanishing when politics gets messy, then reappearing in perfectly framed moments that grab headlines without risk. It's a political version of a pop star dropping a surprise single. Not groundbreaking, just a reminder he still exists. For Rogan, the performance never ended. It just switched stages.